Hi everybody, today in this video I'm going to talk about mental health, bringing the awareness around mental health and being able to talk openly and freely about mental health. Now, mental health, someone that is suffering with mental health problems, it's all to do, a mental health problem I should say, it's the mind, the brain, how it affects the mind, how it affects the person within their self, like the behaviour, it affects your thinking, your thoughts, your emotions. But each illness has different symptoms to it because there's many different illnesses, mental health illnesses. Some are more severe than others, like the more severe ones, like schizophrenia, that's one of them. Bipolar and so forth. You've got like depression, anxiety, then I would say they're a bit more talked about, probably a bit more easier talked about. But the thing is, a mental illness is a mental illness, and it should all be the same, like the awareness being, talked about a bit more, the understanding around it a bit more. There's many people worldwide that are suffering with some kind of mental illness, not just in England, worldwide. There's people that are suffering, each day. Some people may find it very difficult to actually talk about their illness and may hide away from it. Why is that? That shouldn't be happening. That's the awareness around it. That shouldn't be happening. People should be able to just talk, a bit more freely about their illness and how they are feeling. A lot of the time, or some of the times, it may be because they can't. That's probably one of the reasons they can't. They feel they can't because they may feel that, their mind's confused, it's a bit overload, and probably just don't know where to start with it all. But, if the awareness is there, if it's taught, like I said, like with a physical illness, you hear a lot about that, physical illness. So it should be the same with mental health. Mental health problems are just as important, and some of them can affect you physically as well, like within yourself. Like, say, physically, it could affect you, like your muscles can get affected by because with the mental illness it brings on stress, all sorts of symptoms. The stress in itself causes problems like tension, so it can cause some kind of physical problem as well, because anxiety does. You get the panic attacks with the panic attacks. There's different kinds of anxiety, but like I said, many people are suffering worldwide, and that's what should be understood. It shouldn't be something that's, like I said, brushed under the carpet and not noticed. Just because you can't see a mental illness, it doesn't mean to say it has to be ignored either. There's no excuse for that. You could be walking past someone in the street, and that person you may have walked past may be suffering with some kind of illness, and you probably won't even know about it. That's because it's not something that you can see. But like I said, just because you can't see it, there is no excuse for it to be, no awareness around it and the understanding around it, because it's very important, and it can affect, there's no age group that certain age groups that it can affect. It can affect anybody, and mental illness can affect anybody. So there should be a bit more awareness around it, and for those, and it would help those as well that are suffering to be able to open up a bit more about how they're feeling, what is going on. They should be able to say, be talking to someone and someone says, oh, how are you? Oh, not too bad, a bit like that. I've got such and such. Like someone would say about a physical illness. It should be more open. Mental illness should be more open and more talked about, and the awareness there, and for those, like for those that are suffering with some kind of mental illness, don't doubt yourself, by opening up. I know sometimes maybe it might be hard at first to do, but when you do it, open up on how you're feeling alongside with any other treatment you're getting. It really do help. There shouldn't be no holding back, because if you hold back on how you're feeling, it's got to go somewhere. And by talking about how you're feeling and what is going on is the better way to do it, because it can really help with your mental health and so forth. So I wanted to do this video because, like I said, our mental health and mental illness is very important. Like I said, there's many people out there that are suffering. People have took their own lives because of it. That's how serious a mental illness is. Just because you may not have, like I said, you've got to know, if you've got to been through something like that to really know what a mental illness is like. You won't know otherwise, but you can still have a bit of understanding around it, because you may know there might be people out there that know somebody that is suffering with a mental illness, and having the understanding around it could help that person, and give a little bit of support towards those who are suffering as well. So like I said, those who are out there that are maybe suffering with some kind of illness, don't feel shame. There's no shame in a mental illness. Don't doubt yourself. Just do your best and just try and talk about how you're feeling. Like I said, sometimes people may not be able to do it right off. It's all about, I think a lot of it's about trust. The person that you're talking to, like a bit of trust there, because that's a big thing with somebody that is suffering with mental illness, trust. Having the trust in somebody. And once you find that person and get that support, that trust, it do go a long way. So no hold bars, no holding back. Help with your mental health and talk about it. Talk about how you're feeling. And like I said, it should be mentioned a bit more, talked about a bit more. Bring a bit of awareness there. Mental illness isn't all bad. There is positives to it. You can get to a point, if you're suffering, you can get to a point with your coping strategies, your things that you do, like your coping strategies, your support you've got, you can settle. You tend to gradually settle and be able to cope with it better. So, like I said, I wanted to do this video to bring awareness around mental health and being able to talk freely and openly about it. It shouldn't be hidden. It's something that shouldn't be hidden. Like I said, physical illnesses, they're not hidden. They're not brushed under the carpet. So it should be the same with mental health, and that's all mental health. You know, a mental illness, whatever it is a mental illness, and bringing the awareness around it. So please share this video. I hope it will be of some help to somebody out there or some people out there. You know, like I said, don't doubt yourself. Just be a bit more open. Find the trust in somebody and be a bit more open with it all. Take care. Like I said, please share. It's very important. And give us a like.